Hey guys, this is how the truck ended up last night. I'm going to try and finish it up tonight. Going to get the front cross member figured out, get the wheels and tires mounted up, make the rear panel to accept the larger size spare, and also take care of the front body mounting position. Other than that, I just have to get electronics installed, and then I hope to run this thing tomorrow. After that, I hope to get it posted up for sale on my Facebook page, which is harleydesigns.com or facebook.com/harleydesigns. It's September 3rd right now. I hope to have it up by September 5th, and I don't expect it to last more than a day. So if you're watching this too much later than that, don't send me a message looking for it because it's probably gone. So anyway, that's the plan for tonight. We're going to try and get this knocked out so I can get this thing done and running. Alright, for the front cross brace, Howard has saved me some time. After last night when we measured and cut the rear cross members, he called me today and asked me if I remembered that measurement, and I did happen to remember it. So he, while he was at work today, he bent and cut out a new aluminum cross brace for the front. Now this is just a flat piece with two 90-degree bends made in it and then channeled to fit down in the frame rails. I'm going to drill a couple of holes in this to set the position forward to back, and then I'm going to drill some holes in this front face and adapt in the setup that was used on the bumpers of the actual Wroncho with this plastic piece. I haven't 100% decided yet how I'm going to use those, but I'll likely use them on the back to retain the bumper in as far as I can. So I'll trim it down to make it as minimal as possible, but that'll make a nice sturdy bumper mount that's more solid than the plastic stock one. So should actually work out pretty well. I'm going to just put this in here, mark my lateral position on the side with a Sharpie, and then get the holes drilled and get. Okay, now the next step is that I need to drill the face of this plate to accept the holes from these stock Wroncho bumpers. So it's roughly a 1/4 inch in diameter. So I'm going to use a 1/4 inch drill bit. Hopefully it'll be a nice snug fit. And then I'll press it into this bumper plate, which I have marked on the back for the midpoints. And I will center punch these holes first, drill them to a 1/4 inch, and get this whole bumper assembly mounted up after I modify the Wraith or the Wroncho bumper like I talked about. Alright, I've got the front bumper all mounted, the cross brace is in there, everything fits up front, it's pretty tight, but it all works. Next thing I've got to do is mount this body. I'm going to put the body as far forward as I can. I want to get it almost right up to the back side of that bumper. To do that, I'm going to have to make a new front mount here because these rear shock or front shock towers are too far back now. So I've got to come up with something on that end. But on the back, like I said before, I'm going to make an aluminum tray back here and then mount it through that, I believe. However, I was thinking about putting a spare tire back here. I just don't know that I'm going to end up getting to that tonight or for this project in particular. So anyway, I'm not too concerned about that though. Most of all, I want to get that plate back there so I can get the whole body mounted and come up with my front body mount so that I can then trim the fenders, get my electronics installed, and call this thing buttoned up. Alright, for the rear bed, I have marked out a piece that's 6 1/4 inches by 7 inches, which is roughly the squared off shape of the rear of this Wroncho bed. So I'm going to rough cut that first, and then I'll fit the tapers and things like that to it before I mark and drill for these small holes that will mount the bed in the rear. Alright, I've got that rear body pan made up out of aluminum, and then I drilled a couple holes in it for the rear body mounts. I set that even across with these mid screws on the Wroncho bed if you're looking for a point of reference. Last thing to do now is come up with a front body mount, and I'll probably use I've got some angle aluminum over there that I'll likely use for that. But that'll be the last thing before I trim the body and install the electronics. So for the front body mount, I've got some 1-inch 16th inch thick aluminum angle iron, or angle, and I use that to create the front body mounts. I cut down a couple of pieces that were roughly an inch long, and then drilled the sides here for the location of the shock mounts. And what that allows me to do is I'll put that in there, and then I'll drill new posts, or drill new holes on the top of these to use for the body posts. The goal was to use the existing holes in this body, which are the stock locations. I didn't want to put any more holes in this body, and I didn't want to just cover it with a sticker if I could avoid that. So that was my approach. It seems to work out pretty well. I'm going to get this other side bolted in there and get the new holes drilled for the body posts. And alright, now that the body and all the fabrication for that is finished up, all I have left to do is install the electronics and some drive shafts, but that's all, and then I'll be I should be able to test run this thing tonight, just in the shop here, to make sure everything is functioning right. And I've got this is a stock AE2 Axial ESC and a 27 turn motor. I think this came out of my Jeep JK setup. I never ran it. I pulled it right out and went with the Mama Max Pro and a Tekin motor in that rig. So this stuff's brand new. These 27 turn motors will work just fine in here. Other than that, get this bolted in. I'm going to use a stock Axial radio and receiver as well, just because I'm going to sell this whole truck ready to run. Alright guys, we have a finished truck here. The stock Axial electronics are all installed with the addition of a Castle 10 amp BEC. You always need one of these no matter what. Just install a BEC. I'm going to be running this on 3S, so the BEC will make sure that servo gets plenty of power. I have pulled the red wire from the ESC plug going into the receiver, and I wire my BEC directly into the receiver. No need for a bypass plug or anything like that. I do that same setup with the super high torque servos, and there's nothing wrong with it. So great, it runs fine, no worries. The other thing I did was I built this battery tray here. Another piece of that angle aluminum. I drilled 2 holes and then added a slot for this Velcro strap. I cut down a stock Axial battery plate to create this electronics tray on the rear. That just bolts onto the one of the top bolts on the Wraith transmission. Other than that, very simple install, and the whole thing is all complete. So there we have our running truck. I've tested the electronics. Everything seems to work just fine. I hope to get this truck out into some sort of terrain tomorrow. I'm not exactly sure where I'll go run it, but I'd like to go put a couple packs through it just to make sure everything's working fine. I've got a good amount of suspension travel in the rear. The front is a little limited, but it still has pretty good flex. I can, get the decent amount there, a little more than the tire height probably in the front, and then just a little bit more in the rear. So, but everything feels nice and smooth. I'm pretty happy with that. I hope to get some video of this running tomorrow up, and then I hope to have a for sale, this posted for sale on the Facebook page later tomorrow evening. That is, if I can get this video up tonight still. So anyway, that's all we got for this thing. It was a quick little project. I had a lot of fun with it, so I'm sure I'll get a little bit of a recap after I get some running footage of it, just to see how I really feel about it. But as far as how everything feels, I'm pretty excited to go run it. So watch out for that video, and we will see you guys tomorrow.